Welcome to Virtual Firearms Association. I'm Frank, and today we're going over the barriers of entry to getting into firearms. Who makes it difficult? Why is it so difficult? And everything that goes along with it. Let's discuss. Before we get started, those gifts are in the description down below for you. First is the downloadable free and printable targets. Download them, save them, print them, use them all over again. Save yourself time and money when going to the range or training in your own home. Additionally, that free basic pistol course with the marksmanship component, there's a hidden bonus in there as well as a bunch of other bonuses that are attached to it that you'll see once you sign up for it. Completely free, our gift to you, kind of helping with that barrier to entry that we're talking about today. Now, one of those things we're discussing is, why is it so difficult to get into law enforcement? Who's making it difficult to get into law enforcement? And there's a lot of ways to kind of go about this. And there's a lot of different avenues that we can probably touch on here. But I'm going to take one solid path. Yes, there's a lot of barriers to entry when it comes to society, right? And to legality, right? If you were to take the social side of it, and maybe some individuals that you know are not very keen, we'll use that, keen on firearms, right? Whereas other people are just outright against them. And then same with the political side. And I hate getting into politics, so I'm not going to do it. But the political side, you're going to run into that and all these new laws and things along those lines that really make it difficult for someone to say, hey, am I doing this legally? Am I not doing this legally? And we'll be putting out more content on that at a later time. But right now, we're just discussing individuals and maybe even individual groupings. What do I mean by this? So first off, if you take all the things we previously just mentioned with society and then with legality, yeah, those already make it difficult. But then you take those aspects and you try to go gain knowledge, right? You try to go gain knowledge. How do I do this legally? How do I do this safely? And how do I get the information that I need to go out there and be effective and to carry my firearm for whichever purpose you want to, right? That could be sporting. That could be self-defense. That could just be, a sense of security, personal security, right? In your own home. You might not ever want to take your firearm outside of your home. You might just want to have one in your home because you like to be a prepared individual for any case scenario. That being said, you have no idea where to start and you say, okay, maybe I'll join a group. Then you join a group and you ask a question, and then you'll get some good answers. You'll get some good answers in a bad, humorous way, depending on how familiar you are with firearms. And I'll touch on that here in a second. But you also get some good answers from some down-home good people, and usually instructors that started instructing to make a positive impact on the firearm industry. But then you'll get instructors that don't make that positive impact. And I've seen this from time and time again from instructors who are competent, right? They're knowledgeable, we'll put it that way, but their professionalism is just horrendous, right? And it's an unfortunate byproduct. And I saw a interview done by one of the head individuals from the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, which is kind of revolutionizing some things right now and trying to reach out and grow that aspect of normalizing firearm ownership. But I saw an interview done once where they asked, hey, why did you get into, or, what got you into firearms, or what made you start the USCCA? And his answer was astounding because I've seen it time and time again in my time in the firearms industry. He said, I went to a firearms store and range, and there was this big burly husky, and I might not be getting this whole story correct, so bear with me, but there was this big burly husky guy or an individual behind the counter that just demeaned him. And when he was trying to ask questions and trying to be knowledgeable, and if you're in an industry where it comes to firearms, which requires significant continuous training. There's not a single person who does firearms legitimately that does not preach continued education in firearms. And if they do, you deserve better representation. You should probably seek out someone. If someone says, hey, you've done this training, you're done, you don't need any more training in your entire life, you deserve better representation. That's what I'm going to leave it at that. But on the other side, so back to the story. So he goes in, he's trying to purchase or learn about firearms, and it's just crazy. He's belittled, he's demeaned, and he's trying to figure out, why is it this way? I mean, I'm going to be a paying customer, and two, is it an ego thing? You have to feel kind of some type of what's the term I'm looking here? I can't pronounce it. I'm struggling. Hang on. Superiority. There we go. Superiority complex over top. Got it out. Struggling right now. Need my coffee. So he says he goes in and he deals with this in the store at the range, and it was just baffling to him. Now, that story being told, I've seen that hundreds of times. Hundreds. I've seen that in courses I've taken. I've went into courses and not said I was an instructor and was just taking an additional course. And I've watched how other instructors have talked to other people. And then we get out on the range, and one, they can't hit the broadside of a barn possibly, but two, their methodologies, while can be effective, are just diminished due to lack of professionalism. And that superiority, I cannot say that word today, superiority complex sometimes kicks in with these instructors, and it makes it such a horrendous barrier for new firearms owners. How dare we as instructors, how dare we try to diminish anyone trying to branch out and gain knowledge? It's an embarrassment, honestly, from my standpoint, an absolute embarrassment being on my side of the aisle as an instructor. I hate it. And there's not much things I hate in this world, but I hate that. I hate that. And it's something that only hurts the firearm industry, because if we can't collectively come together, then that's what individuals who want to get rid of the industry use to push their agendas and their objectives. If united we stand, divided we fall type ideal. And if you walk in as a new firearms owner, or if you want to become an owner, or even just a new shooter, and you're saying, hey, I want to gain more, and someone comes in and says, look at me, this is what I can do, I'm going to say it again. You deserve better representation. Now, I do believe that you should seek out competent guidance, right? And that doesn't mean hiring a paid instructor, right? You can. We're instructors, right? We have the Virtual Firearms Association, so I can say I'm biased here, but at the same point in time, the whole reason we started VFA was to provide access around the world to firearms instruction without having those barriers, those extra barriers of entry, such as rude or unprofessional instructors, right? I've seen instructors diminish other instructors as a way to boost their egos. I've seen instructors do this to students. I've seen instructors make mistakes in front of students and try to play it off rather than just say, hey, see, everyone still makes mistakes, and this just means I need to train more. It's a difficult topic, because there's already enough barriers to entry into firearms. And as instructors, we're supposed to mitigate them. We're supposed to make those barriers to entry go away, or at least make them smaller. And I tend to see us making them harder at times. It's not what we should be doing. We should definitely be focusing on nourishing and flourishing the growth of someone. I don't care if someone's 70 years old or 7 years old. If they have an interest in firearms and we diminish that, we snuff out that flame because of ego, it never works, right? And it's just one of those things that is something that we try to combat here at VFA, right? We believe in a community oriented mindset when it comes to your firearms training. You know, we have our community section where everyone, we don't tolerate unprofessionalism or any type of just poor conduct, right? If your character is, if you represent yourself and your character poorly, then we just remove you from the program. But that's just, that's one of the major barriers to entry that I feel that we can address. Myself as instructors, I know Chris would probably say the same thing, and then everyone else. I've spoken with and worked with a lot of great instructors in the world. They, I've heard them share similar sentiments. However, at the same point in time, I've worked with some instructors that had shortcomings when it came to their professionalism. On behalf of instructors, if you've ever run into one and it's hurt your growth in firearms knowledge and training, or it's prevented you from going after it, let me apologize for them. I'll apologize for them. I'm sorry that's ever happened to you. It's not always like that out there, right? What do you call a doctor that got all C's in med school? It's still a doctor, right? I don't know if I want them doing brain surgery on me, but they're still a doctor. And same thing in law enforcement, you know, as my current profession as a law enforcement instructor, same thing there. And then same thing in any profession, teaching, nursing, you know, bus driving, doesn't matter. It's all the same. Just because someone holds that title doesn't mean they represent it the best. So I apologize. That being said, if you are looking to break that barrier to entry, down below in the description are those free gifts for you. It's going to help you break that barrier to entry. Those downloadable printable targets, you can use them, you can take them to the range, you can shoot them up, print them, do it all over again, or you can post them on your wall, make sure everything's clear and safe, and do some dry fire training. Additionally, if you're ready to do some training with your actual firearm, make sure everything's safe, clear, and no ammunition is around. But we have that online basic pistol course with the marksmanship component added in, as well as all those hidden bonuses in there. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.